गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण श्रील प्रभुपाद की समवेत भक्त वृंद की श्रीमद्भागवतम महापुराणम की गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। मदेकबन्धुमत्सङ्गीन् मद्गुरो मन्महाधना मन्निस्तारकमद्भाग्य मदानन्दनमस्तु ते। असाधु साधुतादायिन् अतीनीच चतारक आनमञ्च कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णारित्कण्ठय स्फुरः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So today we will continue reading from Canto 10, chapter 13 and text number 3, 4 and 5. So there is no purport to text number 3 and 4, and there is purport to text number 5. So we will chant 5 together, then I will read text numbers 3 and 4, then we will discuss. ओहोतिरम्यं पुलिनं वयस्या स्वकेलिसम्पन्मृदुलाञ्छबालुकम् स्फुटत्सरोगन्धहृतालिपत्रिका ध्वनि प्रतिध्वानलसद्रुमाकुलम् अहोतिरम्यं पुलिनं वयस्या स्वकेलिसम्पन्मृदुलाञ्छबालुकम् स्फुटत्सरोगन्धहृतालिपत्रिका ध्वनि प्रतिध्वानलसत्कृमाकुलम् ओहोतिरम्यं पुलिनं वयस्या स्वकेलिसम्पन्मृदुलाञ्छबालुकम् स्फुटत्सरोगन्धहृतालिपत्रिका ध्वनि प्रतिध्वानलसद्रुमाकुलम् Please repeat. अहोतिरम्यं पुलिनं वयस्या स्वकेलिरम्यान्मुचुराञ्छबालुकम् अहोतिरम्यं पुलिनं वयस्या स्वकेलिरम्यान्मृदुलाञ्छबालुकम् स्फुटत्सरोगन्धहृतालिपत्रिका ध्वनि प्रतिध्वानलसद्रुमाकुलम् अहोतिरम्यं पुलिनं वयस्या स्वकेलिसम्पन्मृदुलाञ्छबालुकम् स्फुटत्सरोगन्धहृतालिपत्रिका ध्वनि प्रतिध्वानलसद्रुमाकुलम् अहोतिरम्यं पुलिनं वयस्या स्वकेलिसम्पन्मृदुलाञ्च बालुकम् स्फुटत्सरोगन्धरिताळिपत्रिको ध्वनिप्रतिध्वानलसद्रुमाकुलम्. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Oho, oh, Atiramyam, very, very beautiful. Pulinam, the bank of the river. Vayasya, my dear friends, Swakeli Sampat, full with all paraphernalia for pastimes of play. Mrudulancha Balukam, the very soft and clean sandy bank. Sphutat, in full bloom. Saragandha, by the aromas of the lotus flower. Rita, attracted. Ali, of the bumblebees. Patrika, and of the birds. Dhvani pratidhvana, the sounds of their chirping and moving, and the echoes of these sounds. Lasat, moving all over. Druma akulam, full of nice trees. Translation: my dear friends, just see how this river bank is extremely beautiful because of its pleasing atmosphere. And just see how the blooming lotuses are attracting bees and birds by their aroma. The humming and chirping of the bees and birds is echoing throughout the beautiful trees in the forest. Also here the sands are clean and soft. Therefore, this must be considered the best place for our sporting and pastimes. Purport: the description of Vrindavan forest as given herewith was spoken by Krishna 5,000 years ago, and the same condition prevailed during the time of the Vaishnava Acharyas 300 or 400 years ago. Kujjat kukila hamsa sarasa gana kirne mayura kule. Vrindavan forest is always filled with the chirping and cooing of birds like cuckoos, kokila, ducks, hamsa, and cranes, sarasa, and it is also full of peacocks, mayurakule. The same sounds and atmosphere still prevail in the area where our Krishna Balaram temple is situated. Everyone who visits this temple is pleased to hear the chirping of the birds as described here. Kujjat kokila hamsa sarasa. Text number 3. Shruno swabahito rajan api guiham badamite ब्रूयुः स्निग्धस्य शिष्यस्य गुरोवो गुह्यमप्युता. O king, kindly hear me with great attention. Although the activities of the Supreme Lord are very confidential, no ordinary man being able to understand them, I shall speak about them to you. For spiritual masters explain to a submissive disciple even subject matters that are very confidential and difficult to understand. तथाघवदनान् मृत्यु रक्षित्वा वत्सपालकान् सरेत् पुलिनमानीय भगवान् निदमब्रवीत्. Then, after saving the boys and calves from the mouth of Aghasura, who was death personified, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, brought them all to the bank of the river and spoke the following words. So, this is the very beautiful pastime of Krishna we are listening, where this is just immediately after killing of Aghasura. This pastime took place on the bank of Jamuna and Vrindavan, and now the conversation is going on between King Parikshit and Srila Sukadeva Goswami. So Srila Sukadeva Goswami is very pleased with the submissive attitude of Maharaj Parikshit. And in the previous chapter, we were hearing how Krishna, he killed Aghasura, and then actually he wanted to quickly move on to the next. So quickly he is saying, this pastime was explained to the Brajavasis by the cowherd boys after 1 year. So Sukadeva Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit is very attentive in hearing the narration because he is a Rasika Bhakta. He was protected by Krishna himself in the womb of his mother. He is not like any ordinary person that he is hearing about Krishna for the first time in his life. Even from his very childhood, he is very much attached to Krishna, and he would play by keeping Krishna's doll and so many kind of pastimes, or you can say the play Parikshit Maharaj, when in his childhood he used to play, was related to Krishna. So he was truly Krishna conscious. That means we can say in the meantime he has developed the taste to hear about Krishna. So he is not like any ordinary man who is just for the first time hearing from an elevated soul like Sukadeva Goswami. So this is a very nice relationship established between the disciple and guru, the speaker and the listener. When he heard this, that the pastime of killing Aghasura was done in Pauganda, in Balya, when he was just 5 years old. And then after 1 year, this pastime is being revealed to the Brajavasis, that is in Pauganda, when he became 6. Oh, what happened for last 1 year? What was going on? And when Maharaj Parikshit, he asked this question, this actually brought Sukadeva Goswami into full samadhi. He closed his eyes, he was very pleased with the beautiful question that Maharaj Parikshit has just asked to dig into the insightful understanding about Krishna's beautiful pastime. So first of all, he greeted Maharaj Parikshit by saying, Mahabhaga, Mahabhagavata, you are a very fortunate soul. To glorify how he from his childhood was closely connected with Krishna, Mahabhagavata also. He is not an ordinary soul. Because the way you are asking this question, you are bringing me to meditation where I can, actually I didn't want to narrate this, but by looking at how you are asking me this question, I am drawn into explaining this pastime to you. Oh, Parikshit, you must know. That's why he is saying, Shunu swava hito rajan api guiham badamite. See, the mood have been very nice. Like, oh king, kindly hear me. Shunu abahite. That means he is saying, abahita chitta means you be more focused and concentrate in your mind and intelligence and hear what I am just going to speak to you now. That is the meaning of Shunu, abahito, Rajan, my dear king. Guhyam api vadamite. Even though it is very confidential, still I am going to talk to you. He is saying, Prabhupada is translating. The activities of the Supreme Lord are very confidential. No ordinary being able to understand them. I shall speak about them to you. That means the relationship between guru and disciple is just like a calf and mother cow. If the farmer is going to go to the cow to get the milk, without bringing the calf near mother cow, he cannot get any milk from the cow. But when calf approaches mother cow, the loving kind of an exchange between calf and mother cow helps mother cow to pour milk. And calf is very happy to drink. So similarly, this Gurava Guhyam Mapyuta Bruyu Snigdhasya Sisyasya. Same topic was brought when the discussion took place between Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya. They are also saying, Bruyu Snigdhasya Sisyasya Gova Guhyam Mapyuta. The secret of success in spiritual realization, you can say, is lying in satisfying the spiritual master. When we satisfy our spiritual master, then all the secrets that spiritual master is having, he will automatically reveal to him. Just like I gave the example, the cow, the secret is like, the milk is inside mother's body. You cannot just, pull the milk, even though nowadays modern, these demoniac people, they are trying to use all sorts of mechanics, machines to draw the milk, but that is not the way. She is not happy. And we have proven, it is proven by the scientists, that when mother cow is not happy, but you are sucking the milk and you are trying to use it for anything, the quality of the milk is not like when mother is happy and giving the milk out of happiness. So there is a difference. So similarly, the disciple has to play the role of a calf. And he should behave with his guru in such a way that his attentiveness and submissiveness is making the guru so pleased that Guru Maharaj cannot keep any secret and he will reveal to the disciple. This is what is happening. Actually, Sukadeva Goswami is very much happy to see the mood of Maharaj Parikshit here. He is saying, you are not like any ordinary person that who are envious of Krishna or who does not want to hear. No, I am very pleased with you. That's why I am going to reveal you this secret. Prabhupada is explaining there, that Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he writes this in Guruvastakam prayer, Jasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasada. What does it mean? Actually, when Guru is pleased, he cannot keep any secret. We have seen, and sometimes some people they feel like, no, this is sentimental behavior between Guru and disciple. How does that transmission happen? Knowledge transmission. I would say, how does that confidential knowledge transmission happen between Guru and disciple? Sometimes Guru is busy, he is preaching, he hardly comes and meets the disciple, once or twice. Then how Guru can reveal this confidential subject matter to the disciple? If you see the life of Prabhupada, this example is very, very pertinent here. Even Prabhupada also says, I have hardly met with my spiritual master. How many? 3-4 times he says something like that, in person. But how that very confidential subject matter was revealed to Prabhupada? We know this past time when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took this parikrama in Vrindavan to the place called Koshi. And on that particular evening, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was giving the evening talk, and he could see there are a few of his disciples were sitting there, and most of them had gone for darshan. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he saw this. This gentleman is sitting here, even though he is a grihastha, he is not a sannyasi, he is not a brahmachari, but Prabhupada was like, drinking. Whatever Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is speaking, he is there to just drink with his ear. So attentive. And he is asking some pertinent question that opens up the heart of spiritual master. And he was very pleased with Prabhupada. So this is one of the way how a disciple can gain the qualification to receive the most secret knowledge about yoga sadhana, practice. One acharya, he says, Jadyapyasti nigudha durghata patho yoga prakarastatha apyakhyeyo matibhiradhyatra satatam शिष्याय जिज्ञासवे शास्त्रार्थं जदुवाच भूपतिं ऋषि प्रोत्साहनापूर्वकं तत्रापि प्रतिभाति जो न कृपतः नृपकृतः प्रश्नः स योगार्थकः यद्यप्यस्ति निगूढ़ दुर्घटपथो योगो प्रकारस्तथा. योग प्रकार, the path of Krishna consciousness, this bhakti yoga process is very confidential. It is nigudha, durghata. It's not that it's going to happen automatically by chance. But how it is going to be revealed? When the Guru says, see, the disciple is very intelligent and he is very much curious, inquisitive to know about the confidential subject matter. Not that he is just coming in front of the spiritual master to make a show of his knowledge, or he wants to prove himself that how dear I am to my Guru, I am in this assembly of a devotee, so he starts asking some kind of questions to make a show of himself. Not that is not the way that Guru is going to be pleased with you to reveal the secret. That's why. Here you can see, that's why he is saying, Shastrartham jaduvacha bhupatim rishi. This confidential Shastrartha, the past times of Krishna, was revealed to Nripa, King Parikshit, by Shukadev Goswami, Protsahana Purvakam, in a very happy mood. How? Prasna Yogarthakaha. He asked some question which was unfolding this bhakti yoga process. So in that way, we should also know how to ask question to our spiritual master. We can take some other example also. We have seen the dealing between Arjuna and Dronacharya. right? Ashwathama, even though he was the son of Dronacharya, Ashwathama was not given the secret of how to use this Brahmastra weapon. Huh? He didn't know actually, he was not trained. But you can see, Arjuna was so submissive, so intelligent. He had attracted his spiritual master's mercy. And Dronacharya revealed the secret to Arjuna. Arjuna knew everything. So, Gurava Guhyam Apyuta. As a disciple, as an intelligent disciple, you should know how to behave properly. A disciple should never at any point in time should consider himself, he knows better than his guru. He knows more than his spiritual master. Our spiritual master sometimes forgets where he has kept his spectacles, how to understand. Guru is transcendental. Yeah, you go and ask your guru. Even though he sometimes forgets where he has kept his spectacles, but still he doesn't belong to the category of any ordinary human being. So in that way, here the very nice thing have been explained. So Sukadeva Goswami is very pleased to narrate this pastime. And then he continues. He says, so after delivering Aghasur, when Krishna entered into the mouth of Aghasura and he kind of expanded his body to such an extent that all the holes in the Aghasura's body was kind of shut down. I mean to say his his nose and mouth, he could not breathe, and he left his body, and he was there up in the sky. He was waiting Krishna to come out. And Krishna is so happy to see his devotee. Just by glancing over his devotees, he brought all these boys back into life and brought everybody out of the mouth of Aghasura, who is death personified. So that is what I've been saying. Tathagha badanan mrityu rakshita vatsapalakan. From the mouth, the death personified mouth, the Aghasura's mouth, he brought the calves and boys out. And he brought them sarit pulinamaniya. After that, you can see sometimes, like if the baby is kind of crying, he is in a very distressful situation. The father, after rescuing the baby, they always try to bring the baby to a situation where baby will feel more comfortable, relaxed, and happy. So Krishna, you can see, now he has seen it such a very terrible situation. The boys were suffering. They just came out from the death. Okay, now I have to bring them to a place where they will all feel very fresh, happy. Because Krishna is always happy to play with his friends. He doesn't want to see anybody distressful. That's why even our acharyas, they say, a devotee should never go before Krishna and cry. This is not a good symptom. Krishna does not like to see you cry before him. He always wants to see you happy. He is the most happy personality. He is always happy. He wants to see you happy also. So he wants to see all these boys should be happy. So he said, okay, my dear friends, let's go. And he brought them all to Jamuna Pulina, to the bank of river Jamuna. And there, after coming, he is telling, Ohoti ramyam pulinam vayasya. My dear friends, just see how this river bank is extremely beautiful. Prabhupada is saying, very, very beautiful. Ati ramyam, not only ramyam. Very, very beautiful. Why? Why did it become very beautiful? It was not beautiful before. Yes, Vrindavan is always beautiful. But when Krishna is personally moving in certain part of Vrindavan, that part becomes thrilled being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, and it appears even more beautiful than as it is. That's why when Krishna in person moving from one place to another, the place which he is leaving behind, they are in deep separation. So how can they become very beautiful? This is a relationship, just like husband and wife. When a wife comes before her husband, she is happy and she kind of decorates herself very beautifully, because this is for the pleasure of her husband. Similarly, the dham, the devotees of the Lord, they are serving Krishna in a particular rasa. They have a personal relationship. So when they come before him, they are thrilled. They appear more beautiful because they are so happy to be before Krishna. They are getting the opportunity to serve him. And that's why here it is said, Ati Ramyam. And what? Pulinambayasya Swokeli Sampan Mudulanchana Lancha Balukam. Acharyas are explaining, when Krishna came on the bank of Jamuna, the sand particles became so soft and clean, just like camphor. If you see camphor is so soft and very clean. Means it's a sign of happiness, joy. So in that way, Krishna is saying, look, not only this Balukam, but on this Sarovar, on this water reservoir, there are so many beautiful lotuses are fully bloomed, and they are spreading nice fragrance. As if now they are ready to spread this fragrance in form of incense stick for us to sit here and have our lunch. Oh, it is getting late now. So let's sit down. Such a beautiful place. And what is this? Alikula. And because these lotuses are fully bloomed and they are filled with makaranda, the nectar, and spreading this beautiful aroma, it is attracting the bees, bumblebees. And you can hear their humming. And the birds, they are so happily, chirping, as if they are singing. They have seen now Krishna is here. And he is going to have lunch with his friends. So when Krishna is going to have lunch, there must be Badya, Kirtan, everything, right? Singing. Otherwise, how Krishna can eat? That's why Krishna is noticing everything. See these bumblebees and birds, they are humming and chirping. This sound is like, they are singing. This is a very beautiful place. My dear boys, please come and open your respective lunch pack. We can eat here. So that's why Prabhupada is saying that even this beauty of Vrindavan was still visible even 300-400 years before, during the time of our Vaishnavacharyas. That's how our acharyas, they sing this, Kujjat ku kilahamsa sarasagana kirne mayura kule. So, he Radhe Brajake Devi Ke Chalalite He Nanda Suna Kuta Si Govardhana Kalpapada Patale Kalindi Vanne Kuta Ghosanta Viti Sarvato Brajapuri Khedair Mahavihalai. So, this is the explanation of beauty of Vrindavan. Even to the point when Prabhupada took the Krishna Balaram temple, I mean to say that he purchased the place to construct Krishna Balaram temple. In those days, this place was not so much developed, all of you know. So Prabhupada is saying those who come to Krishna Balaram temple, they can still see that these cuckoos, these mayura, the peacocks, still they are making nice sound and they are coming on their way. So Vrindavan is always Vrindavan. It is very pleasing to Krishna. And devotees, some devotees now also they are trying to preserve this beauty of Vrindavan so that we can have the feeling of Krishna's presence. Otherwise, what happening? People, all these industrialists today, they are coming to Vrindavan. They are just, constructing big houses. Very sad thing is they don't want to live there. They just want to build the house, purchase a flat, destroy the beauty of Vrindavan. Neither they are able to enjoy, nor they are allowing other sadhus to enjoy also. If you want to, if you are desirous to go to Vrindavan, then go and stay there and do your sadhana nicely, enjoy with Krishna. That is what Krishna wants. But anyway, we can see now because of this coronavirus, everything is shut down. Even in Vrindavan also, no? Nice, so many peacocks are coming on the way, you can see now. So many on the Govardhan path, some devotees are sending nice video, nice pictures, you can see it. Ka, 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 nice, noise they are making, and with full their, feeder, because of the rainy season coming now. They are looking so beautiful. You can see, so nice in Vrindavan. So this is the beauty explained by Shukadev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit, that how beautiful this Vrindavan is. And devotees, by reading this pastime, they can also relish this beauty of Vrindavan, how Krishna always tries to satisfy or be happy being with his devotee and play with them. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, we can conclude our class here. Maharaj want to say something?
Well, people who maybe live in the countryside, they have a different opinion. We are coming, when you come like from an industrial city or something like that, then you think, oh, countryside is very beautiful. But for the people who live in the countryside, they don't find so much. It's not that they may think that, oh, it's so beautiful, the birds there. The birds, they eat all the seeds. When we plant something, it's the birds who come, they eat it. They eat the seeds, and they just very hard to grow things because these birds are coming. Even the tulsi comes, you grow tulsi, the birds will come, they'll pick all the leaves off the tulsi. So, you're saying, oh, these birds are so beautiful. But they give a lot of problems too,
Yeah, what you say, from one analysis, one perspective, this is a fact. But let us try to understand this by making a study of different subject, which is kind of similar to this. Okay, let us talk. Yes, you made a statement that people who are actually living in the countryside, they don't actually really appreciate the real beauty of the countryside, and they sometimes try to find how the nature is making their life so difficult. Who can enjoy farming? One who identifies himself as a farmer, he can enjoy farming. I mean to say, he knows that I am a farmer, this is my life, this is my, this is my life. He wakes up early in the morning, he is not thinking, oh, what a great life people are enjoying in the city. He doesn't have any conception about what is city life. He identifies himself, I am a farmer, my life is with field and what I grow, my family. He is very happy, he is going to the field cultivating, and this person, because he is going to the field, he cultivates, he will never make any loss in his life. There are so many evidences even today found. If you go to the, what is this called, our tribal area, even today, tribal people are never tribal people. Tribal. They are never fed up with their life in the forest. You go there, you find they are the most happy people because they have got no information about what is urbanization, what kind of sense gratification is readily available when you go to the city. They are having a very natural life. What is happening nowadays is people who are living in the countryside, their children, maybe they are going and sitting in the urban areas, and they have some kind of a mixed culture of getting some information from there, and they are thinking, they are disturbed. Oh, what is this? This is not good. But when they actually identify themselves, that this is our life actually, this is what we are supposed to be around with, and how they are getting supported by the nature. When they feel it, they reciprocate, they will never get fed up, and they will rather enjoy. Yes, what you said, the birds are coming and eating the crops, and there seems like they are getting some trouble, but the experience is Krishna's creation is complete. Even the birds are coming and eating few grains. Krishna knows that he is my person, he is making this cultivation. Even if birds are eating, still there will be enough. Number one, and number two, even if birds are coming to eat and you are feeling like they are destroying your crops, make some arrangement. That is your duty. And then in that way you make an harmony with them. We are supposed to live in harmony with each other. Even the animals, they have kind of, what you say, they have notion, they understand how they can interact with the other living entities also. The point is, when any creature in Krishna's creation becomes more selfish, he sees so much in himself, that's where trouble comes. Definitely all these birds and beasts, they also need to survive, they need their survival, they are getting something from the field, they can only, that is their right also. And you as a human being, even in those days, people, they didn't have so much of skill or advanced weapons, but still they were having some kind of, weapons to protect themselves from the attack of these key birds and beasts, and they were also surviving happily. They were more happy actually. I would say rather nowadays just getting this knowledge of urbanization and being infatuated with so-called comfort living, if people, they become more natural in their living, this is how we are supposed to live. What you need? You need food to survive. Go to the field, work in the field. If there are some entities are coming, okay, protect from them, and rest of the time you cultivate Krishna consciousness. If people are not thinking that this human form of life is meant to evolve centering around Krishna conscious practices, predominance has to be given to Krishna conscious practices. Other activities is to support Krishna consciousness. Krishna will be supportive, nature will be supportive, because this is the very mood of Krishna's creation. This is the intent how Krishna has created this universe. That knowledge is missing in the society. People are not very much convinced about it. They don't have faith in Krishna. So there will be some kind of negative reaction. Urbanization started how many years back before Prabhu? Urbanization started how many years before? Urbanization. Industrial revolution, how many years before it started? $200 ago. Okay. So if you take this, human civilization that still existed before 200 years, right? Like Prabhupada, he is commenting in one of these, purports. He is saying these Americans and European boys and girls, how come they are taking so much interest in Krishna consciousness? Initially, even prior to this urbanization, they used to have this colonial, So they used to come together. They had learned the skill of how to live together in a community, in a society with nature. And that is the, you can say, intuition developed in them internally to be receptive to Krishna consciousness. Even the modern scientific inventions is spoiling their mood because they had learned this colonization art that is how they are taking interest to hear about Krishna. Those who are coming from cultural background, they can be very receptive to Krishna consciousness. Those who are coming from the modern, spoiled, so much, technological industrialization background, they are not so much receptive to Krishna consciousness. They are turning out to become more atheist. This is the proof. They are turning out to be atheists. So, this is what says that Krishna's creation is complete, and he has, he has established this creation pastime to reclaim the souls back home, back to Godhead. That means everything is centered around how we can become Krishna conscious. That facility have been given to us by Krishna. When we forget that part, that all these facilities are there to make us Krishna conscious, when we forget that, then you see all these facilities are given to us just to make our life happy and comfortable. That is where all problem starts. In the village area, people are not being taught about how they can be happy by being Krishna conscious. Even nowadays, for example, we are doing this Namhat preaching. Devotees, they go to different villages. You see, they are so happy, and very quickly they are taking up Krishna consciousness. So many people are becoming devotees. Why? It is very easy for them. So this is not a point that whether somebody is able to appreciate the nature or is not able to appreciate the nature. This is not the question of argument, rather how they are able to make use of the nature facilities to become Krishna conscious. This is what I would see. This is my perspective. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
It's nice to hear in the purport when Srila Prabhupada said even people coming to our Krishna Balaram Mandir can appreciate. Back in the 70s,
Yes.
it was very beautiful. You could swim. Well, now you can swim. Right now you can swim in the Jamuna, but for decades you haven't been able to. Back then you could go every day to the Jamuna and take a bath, clean water. Peacocks would be heard throughout, everywhere, surround sound when the rain clouds would come or the thunder, and the sandy, how would you say it? The sandy land was there, cows come through, and the path was all dirt, and you really could see how Krishnas have pastimes there in Vrindavan at that time. It was so wonderful.
Vrindavan is always beautiful, isn't it? Vrindavan is always beautiful because Krishna is always there. When we don't have the capacity to see this beauty because of lack of Krishna consciousness, then everything becomes dry. Yeah, because we are torturing, that's why the natural beauty of Vrindavan is disappearing. Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol.